What is up, everybody? Renfail here. Hopefully you are doing well. Today we're going to be diving into a beginner's guide to building Corvettes in No Man's Sky. This is a new system that just got introduced with the Voyagers Update 6.0 here in late 2025. If you haven't had a chance to dive in yet, it's pretty cool. It can be a little complex, but hopefully we'll be able to take some of that complexity out of the equation with this beginner's guide. So without further ado, let's dive in. I've got a ship here that I've already put together. Which we can take a look at really quick. This has a variety of bits and pieces and components on it. And then if we want to back out of here, it will put us into the mode that most people are going to notice here, which is going to be the Corvette Workshop. Now, if you're not sure where the Corvette Workshop is, this will be what you need to know right off the bat. When you first get to the space station, it has to be done in a space station. This is the old ship building. Don't go there. You're going to want to turn around and you're going to run right back here. And you're going to find this Corvette building station. Now, if you look over here, there are some teleporters, I should say, right over here. There's 4 of them. There are 4 different bays for building your Corvette. You'll notice which one you are building at because you will have a little icon there that tells you to teleport to, and then you can just hop on it and it will drop you back. But just remember they're on this back side, on the other side of the normal landing platform for the stations. Anyway, one thing I would recommend if you're going to be doing any building is going to be to turn the game into the single player mode, turn the multiplayer off, because there can if all the bays are full, you might not be able to find any space. There can sometimes be some wonkiness as of this recording in terms of loading into the space station. So if you just want to make sure that you have space to build yours, make sure that you put it into single player mode, because sometimes you'll be sitting here building and somebody will come in and accidentally land, or the system will have somebody land and it'll kick you out of the building. You don't want any of that to happen. So just for the moment, just go into single player mode when you want to build your ships to get the most out of it. But what you're looking to do is go through the tutorial right away. The tutorial is going to have you come in here and you're going to follow those steps, but essentially you're going to purchase some modules here from the vendor. You need remembering off the top of my head here, you need a cockpit, a habitation module, a couple of thrusters, a couple of landing gear, a weapon, and a module to access the ship, like to get on or off the ship. Once you have those bits and pieces purchased, you can then build your actual ship. Now, the normal way to do this, and this is sort of the aspect that I want to talk to new players about. The normal way to do this is you have to purchase the modules with currency, and they are not cheap. So there are basic modules, and you're going to look at the price on these: 1.6 million, 680,000, 800,000, 1.4 million, etc. They're very expensive. So you can buy basic modules from here. You can also purchase you can trade for advanced modules, there's just lots of modules to choose from. We'll get into those here in a minute. You can trade for the advanced modules here, but you can also find these advanced modules on planets. So as you're out exploring the galaxy and the star systems, you can go onto planets and you can look for the various bits and pieces and farm them if you want. However, there's also a really easy way to do this if you're someone who doesn't necessarily want to spend a bunch of currency, you don't want to go farm all the bits and pieces, you just want to build a cool ship. I would highly recommend this for anybody who just wants to play creatively, because this game does have a creative mode, just like Minecraft and many other games. If you turn this on to creative mode and say yes, you'll notice that I can now purchase any of the modules that I want, and they don't actually... leave workshop. I clicked the wrong button. They don't actually cost any currency when you're in creative mode, so you can purchase these modules free of charge. It won't cost you anything. You're good to go. Now, because I already have a ship here, We can get into that in a little bit in Munch, but I want to create a new Corvette. We'll start something from scratch so that you can see what you need. So you'll notice on the bottom right, it actually guides you through the process. It's very important to follow this step so that you understand the basics of what you're doing. You have to start off with a couple pieces of landing gear. Just do something simple from the get-go, but you can place like, let's see here. Hang on, I gotta get my camera out. Put these like one there and flip those around and put another one. We could just do it here probably because that looks close enough together. We could do that. Then after that, we need to on the top right, it says all modules must be connection, no habitation module, no cockpit, no reactor. These are all the things you would need. So we would then go into this menu, which shows us our core modules. We would find a habitation module. Now, all of these habitation modules have different interior layouts. So if you want to explore these, you'll need to first place them together and then go into the interior of the ship. So let's just go with the ambassador style right now. We're going to connect that to the landing gear like so. We also need to install a cockpit, so we can go in here. We'll stick with the ambassador. We're going to connect that to the front. Notice that when it's not in the right place, it'll be red, but when it connects in the proper place, it will connect with green. We can then place it like so. We still need a reactor and an access way. So we'll go in here and say we want to put a, let's do a Seto class reactor, which will go on top of the ship like so. We can put that right up top. We still need an access way, which is the back end of the ship. Let's go with the ambassador since we're sticking with that whole ambassador look and vibe for the ship so far. We'll place it down there. Gives us a nice extending ramp, and we still need a weapon system. So let's go ahead and grab, let's just say a photon cannon array. Now we could place it up top, but I like to go down here and put it underneath so we can mount it right there underneath. And then there we have a very, 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 very basic ship, right? This is put together with bits and pieces. That is the simplest structure that you can make, right? Super simple. You're using the bare minimum of components, which are 2 pieces of landing gear, a cockpit, a habitation module, an access way, and a reactor, and the weapon. That's it. Those are the only pieces you need to build the base. But what if you want to get crazy here? And modify things. Well, that's when we can step out of here and we'll say store design for later, and we're going to go back to our current ship, which is the ship that I've spent a significant amount of time building and putting together. We can go in here and modify the Aegis of Ether, which is my beginning modifications. So this is my current ship. Now you're going to notice this is significantly bigger. There's a lot more going on here. We have a variety of habitat modules stacked together, and then on the outside we have different types of engines. So we have landing gear buried underneath here, but also if we go underneath, we've got additional landing thrusters. Those are those things right there. We've got multiple lining the length of the ship. I got a couple of proton rockets. I've got these hover pad jets. We've got jets on the back end. We've got more jets here. We've got these really cool like fuel rods, and then we've got all these like bits and pieces. And this is where you can get into some really fun shipbuilding, because when you go into the core modules, these are the things that you need to make the ship function, right? So the habitat modules are what you walk around in. That's where you place your interior decorations, which we'll get to here in a minute. There's also walkways, the individual walkways. There's your access and docking things. There's your landing thrusters. There's your actual, thrusters that you can put on the ship. And then there's your various defensive systems, and all of these have stat bonuses that you can see: heat dispersion, shield strength, all these different things. And you'll notice like here, I've got 3 different types of reactors installed on my ship. I've got a Zenith class, Medusa class, and Azimuth class. Those are here. I've got a couple of these square ones back here right there, one on each side. I got a circle one on each side, so one there. And then up front, I have the Medusa side right there. And then what I've done here is I didn't like the way this looked, just having those here. So I went into the structural decoration, and this is when you have all of these various bits and pieces, which will allow you to really customize what you're doing and allows you to do things like this. This is a little structural element which just snaps on and makes it look a little cooler. And then like this right here, that's a structural element. That's a structural element. That's a structural element. So this is a structural element, like a smooth thing. And then this up here is a habitation module. That little box right there is a habitation module, and then behind it, this is like a structural element. These are things, and then there's an actual module, which is an engine. So all of these different things. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. The modules all do something. They adjust the stats or they move the ship around. Whereas the structural decorations, generally speaking, are just cosmetics. However, you get down into the hull connectors, these actually allow you to do different crazy things. As an example, you might find that you want to mount your engines in a weird position. You would use a hull connector to add a different connection up top as an example, and then you could like mount an engine up top. And most of these pieces, if we go in here and look at them, if we pick out a piece, like let's say we pick this one, you'll notice that if it's red, it won't connect. If it's green, it will, right? And then there's various places that you could put it, depending on where. But you can also, rotate these pieces around. And it depends on what kind of a piece it is. That one might not be the best one to show this off. Here's a piece. So like we can use this and we could like flip the part vertically as an example. So it could top mount or bottom mount. We could rotate it so that it goes to the side or backwards or to the other side. So we could have it go here, or we could flip it and perhaps mount it up top and have it look really weird there. So there's all these different ways that you can mount things depending on what you're trying to work with. And like as an example, this thing won't mount anywhere right now because it's meant to be like side mounting, and there's nowhere for me to mount it at the moment because I've already got all my other bits and pieces put together. Another interesting component is that, as an example, most pieces will snap on to other pieces, but you can't snap on, generally speaking, anything to an engine. Engines are sort of standalone pieces that can't snap on, but you can snap on, like this right here, I was able to put onto the side of the ship connecting to a different module because it won't connect to the engines. Those are basically the basic building blocks of building the exterior of the ship. You can build as big as you want. I do believe there is a limitation of I want to say as of right now, I think it's 100 pieces is the limitation of how many pieces you can have put together. But there have been some people out there who have done some really creative stuff building like the Millennium Falcon, the Slave One from Star Wars, mech builds, all sorts of other stuff. And when you get it all put together, you can notice like at the top right, we've got stats and everything else. This is also like the regular ships in Starfield in the sense that it has a class as well. So once you're done building, you can go in here and look at the class of your ship. And in this case, I have a B class right now. And the class of the ship dictates how many technology slots you can add, and also the potential damage, shield strength, hyperdrive range, all those things. So you can increase the class of your ship just like you can with all your other normal ships, and play around with things there. But what's really fun about the Corvettes is when you get in here to the interiors, and you can go in here and find the interior decorator. And when you start off, this is all going to be bare. Depending on the style of ship. I went with the Thunderbird, I think is the style, which is kind of like the NASA Punk from Starfield. I really like it with like the duct tape and tubing and stuff. All this will be bare, and then you'll come in here and do things like, well, I want to install like a crew berth, which I did. I put a crew berth right there. Or I want to install a mission radar. And so I put that on that wall, and then over here I put like the refiner right here, and then there's down at the bottom there's these storage things which are represented by these storage containers. So I put some storage containers. So what I have here, if you come in the back side here, we have our landing platform, and then I have what right here. This is a long rectangular module. This is one module. This is a second module connected to the cockpit. Right? So two long modules, and then a cockpit. Actually, that might be... I think it's two long and a short. Two long and a short, I believe. And then over here, I connected two longs on the side. So essentially, I have 6 of those rectangular modules stacked side to side. So I have 2, 4, 6, right? And then I have a half, which is a walkway connected to the cockpit. And then I have stairs, which go up to the next level. And up here, we have just one going down the gut. So we have one row, I should say. So we have 2 rectangular modules going down the gut. And if you remember how I said I had a single 1x1 mod up top, that's this final, if I can get up the stairs here, that's this single box I've got up here, which I haven't done a lot with yet. And then on either side of this would be the engines and stuff. So this is what the interior of my ship looks like once all the modules are stuck together. Now, what you're going to want to do if you're building a ship for the first time is check out the types of modules to see which ones have the interior decorations that you like the most. There are currently 3 styles. There's the Ambassador, the Titan, and the Thunderbird. I happen to like the Thunderbird the most, so my ship is... The interiors, anyway, are all Thunderbirds. And then the outside is a mixture of different things. Like, I have Titan engines on the sides because I really like the way the Titan engines look. And then on the back, I've got different engines. So we can go over here and look and see... I jumped on the teleporter. My bad. If we look at the... if we go to the modifications here... we can look at, as an example, like that right there is a Titan sublight thruster. And then on the back end, I've got these twin Echo jets, right? And then I used a Titan class landing bay on the back end, even though the rest of it is pretty much all Thunderbird. So I've mixed and matched a bunch of pieces here. And then these are like, I've got Arcadia things. And then I've used these thruster wings on the side. And then once you're all done and you've got it put together, you can then obviously take it for a spin, which is very important. You always have to take your ships out for a spin to see if they can fly. Now we're going to go into third-person mode. Even though I play in first-person mode, I want to put it into third-person mode so you guys can see this. And we're going to take off. Head on out the door, and here is our ship. And we can go into photo mode if we want. Take a look at this bad boy in all of its glory now that we're out the door. And that is what my ship looks like in the wild. It's a really fun system. There's a lot you could do, a lot you could play around with. I really enjoy the creative mode for building my ships, because then I don't have to get bogged down with, finding the bits and pieces. Do I have enough currency? But I get it. Some people want to earn it. They want to go out there and earn the currency and grind for it. So you get to pick the way that you want to do it. That's the best part of No Man's Sky. So go out there, build some Corvettes, share your screenshots with us in Discord, and let us know what your favorite part of Corvette building is in No Man's Sky. And as always, if you liked what you heard here today, check out the playlist below, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update, and we'll see everybody in the next stream or video.